What's going on? And welcome back to the Rebuild Recovery podcast, where we talk all things recovery, not just about how to get clean, but how to stay clean and rebuild a life that is worth staying clean for. This is a lived experience podcast where recovery is not a destination, it is a lifestyle. My name is Hayden Thorne, and today we're going to break down one of the most misunderstood topics in recovery, and that is goals. Everyone talks about them. Everyone says that you need them, but few people actually understand how they work or why so many men set goals and still end up stuck, restless, or drifting. Today, I want to share the truth about goals in recovery and why some goals motivate you while others drain you. Why chasing the wrong ones can make you feel worse than having them at all, and how to set goals that don't just change your results, but change who you are. Let's start with something that might sound a little strange. Most people fail at goals not because they're lazy, but because they set them for the wrong reasons. They think the goal is about the outcome, like the body, the job, the relationship, or the number on the scales. But outcomes don't motivate people for long, because once the excitement fades, reality kicks in and the grind begins. Recovery teaches you this pretty quickly. You can't build a new life off adrenaline and hype alone. You build it through consistency, through pressure, through repetition. Most men in recovery set goals that sound good, but they don't mean anything. They say things like, I just want to be happy, but happiness isn't a goal. It's a byproduct. They say, I want to stay sober, but that's not a vision. That's just maintenance. Real goals have depth. They are tied to purpose. They pull you forward when willpower runs dry. And the reason that matters is because motivation isn't magic, it's chemical. When you chase something meaningful, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical of pursuit. That's what gives you drive. But when you chase something shallow, dopamine dies off pretty quickly. You get the hit from the idea, but not from the process. And once the novelty fades, you stop showing up. That's why so many men relapse or lose momentum after big milestones. They confuse the high of achievement with the peace of purpose. Let's talk about how goals actually work inside your brain. Every time you set a goal, your brain draws a map between where you are and where you want to be. That gap creates tension, and that tension fuels motivation. The brain doesn't reward completion, it rewards progress, meaning it's not the end result that keeps you going, it's the little wins along the way. So if your only target is to be fully healed or be financially free, your brain has no feedback loop. It can't see the progress, so it gives up. But if you track the progress, the gym sessions, the clean day, the honest conversation, your brain releases dopamine every time you follow through. You literally train your brain to crave the process instead of the prize. That's what separates a man who burns out from a man who builds momentum. The first bloke chases the results, the second one chases the repetition. And repetition is what rewires you. Here's the truth that no one tells you. The moment you hit a goal, your dopamine drops. You climb the mountain, take the photo, feel the high, and then it all fades. That's why so many people hit big milestones and spiral right after. It's not failure, it's biology. Because dopamine isn't about reward, it's about the pursuit. That means the goal isn't what makes you feel alive. It's the growth along the way. So if you want to stay motivated, you can't chase the finish line. You have to fall in love with the climb. In recovery, that means your goal can't just be staying clean. It has to be becoming the kind of man who thrives when he's clean. When you set goals based on identity, you stop relying on motivation and you start living from purpose. In recovery, there are 3 levels of goals. And understanding these is the difference between temporary change and total transformation. Level 1, survival goals. These are the basics. Stay clean, get stable, rebuild structure. Every bloke starts here. And you need these to stay alive. But if you stay here too long, you will plateau. Basic survival is reactive. It's about avoiding pain, not pursuing purpose. Level 2, progress goals. These are about improvement, training consistently, building new habits, repairing relationships, and showing up at work. Progress goals give you momentum. They keep you learning, moving, and expanding. But they're still about doing. The third level, and the one that changes everything, is identity goals. Identity goals aren't about doing more. They're about becoming more. It's not, I want to quit drinking. It's, I'm the kind of man who faces life without needing to escape. It's not, I want to be fit. It's, I'm a disciplined man who takes care of his body. It's not, I want to make money. It's, I'm a provider who builds stability for his family. When your goals align with your identity, discipline stops feeling forced and it just becomes natural. Because you're no longer acting against who you are. You're acting as who you are becoming. One of the biggest traps in goal setting, especially in recovery, is comparison. You look at other men who seem further along, they've got the job, the partner, and the peace, and you start thinking, I should be there by now. But comparison kills growth because it shifts your focus from your path to theirs. And the moment you do that, you lose momentum. Every man has a different climb, a different mountain, a different terrain. Your pace doesn't matter, your progress does. The truth is that most goals you compare yourself to aren't even yours. They're projections. You see what others have and you assume that's what you want. And if you're chasing goals that don't match your values, you'll hit them and still feel empty. So before you set yourself another target, ask yourself, is this goal truly mine or is it someone else's idea of success? Because alignment beats achievement every time. We need to talk about the struggle because every meaningful goal includes it. Struggle is not a sign that you're failing, it's proof that you're growing. The discomfort you feel when you're pushing forward towards a goal isn't punishment, that's progress. It means your nervous system is expanding, your identity is stretching, your tolerance for uncertainty is increasing, and the goal isn't to eliminate that struggle, it's to get better at carrying it. When you stop running from the hard things, you build resilience, and resilience is the currency of recovery. You can't shortcut it. You earn it by showing up on the days you don't want to, by pushing through when no one is watching, by failing, learning, and going again. Every time you face a challenge, you don't quit, you strengthen the part of you that can handle more. And that's how you become unbreakable. And then there's the balance between ambition and acceptance. So here's the paradox. You need ambition to grow, but you need acceptance to stay grounded. Most men either chase too hard and burn out, or accept too much and stop growing. The balance is this. You can set big goals, but don't attach your worth to them. Love the process, not the pedestal. Aim high, but stay humble. Ambition without acceptance leads to anxiety. Acceptance without ambition leads to apathy. But when you merge the two, you get peace in motion. You can push hard while still staying present. You can chase excellence without chasing validation. And that's where sustainable recovery lives, in the middle of both. So how do you set goals that work in recovery? Not the kind that look good on paper, but the kind that transform you. Here's the framework that I use with my clients. Start with a vision, not fixing. Don't make your goals about what you need to escape. Make them about what you want to build. Ask yourself, who am I becoming? What kind of life am I creating? Number 2, make it measurable and meaningful. Track something you can see, not perfection, but progress, and make sure it matters to your heart, not just to your ego. Link it to your identity. Don't say, I want to stop procrastinating. Say, I'm the kind of man who follows through. Your language shapes your behavior. Number 4, break it into battles. Every big vision needs smaller missions. If your goal is a mountain, your daily habits are the steps. Climb one section at a time. And number 5, anchor it emotionally. Attach your goal to something that makes you feel. A reason deeper than comfort, your kids, your future, or like your peace. That's what keeps you showing up when willpower runs out. And here's the kicker. Every time you follow through on something that matters, your brain releases dopamine. Not just when you win, but when you act in alignment. That means every time you choose structure over the chaos, honesty over avoidance, action over apathy, you're literally rewarding your brain for being the man you want to become. Over time, those patterns compound and you start getting addicted to the right things like discipline, momentum, and peace of mind. Your recovery stops feeling like survival and starts feeling like leadership. That's when life begins to expand again. But let's be honest, you're going to miss some goals. You're going to fall short and you're going to get distracted. You're going to mess up, and that's fine as long as you are learning. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the forge where success is built. When you miss a target, don't collapse, collaborate. Ask yourself, what broke down? Where did I lose focus? What needs to shift? The best men in recovery aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fail fast, learn quicker, and get back in the fight. Missing goals doesn't mean you're weak. Quitting on yourself does. Every goal has a spiritual dimension because every goal tests your faith, not just in God, but in yourself. When you set a goal that stretches you, you'll face resistance like doubt, fear. The addict voice will say you're not enough. That's not a sign that you're on the wrong path. It's confirmation that you're stepping into a higher one. Faith doesn't remove uncertainty. It gives you strength to walk through it. And purpose doesn't guarantee comfort, but it guarantees meaning. That's why goals matter, because they're not about achievement. They are about alignment. They're how you meet the man you are meant to become. The truth about goals in recovery is this: they're not about trophies. They're about transformation. They're not about proving your worth. They're about living your truth. When you set goals rooted in who you are becoming, not what you're escaping, every step forward becomes sacred. Every action becomes evidence that you're rebuilding the man that you were born to be. So don't chase the outcomes. Build the identity. Don't chase the highs. Build the habit. Don't chase the approval. Build the alignment. Because recovery isn't about reaching the top of the mountain. It's becoming the kind of man who never stops climbing. So if this episode hit home, share it with a bloke who is rebuilding too, because recovery isn't about going it alone. It's about walking the path together. This is the Rebuild Recovery podcast. Stay consistent, stay grounded, and remember, the man who loves the climb will always reach the summit.